Hi, everybody. It's Ben Ash from Sam Ash Music here for yet another live stream. So today is another exciting one about focusing on guitars. As some of you may or may not know, I am a guitar player proficiently. So these are always fun for me because I've got all the questions for you guys. Usually you guys have to ask the questions for me because it's usually something about keyboards or drums or something else, which I know a little bit about. But this is where I get to really show off my knowledge. And what better person to have to converse back and forth with than my friend Andy Winston. Let's welcome him. Andy, what's up, man?
Ben, how are you, sir?
I am great. How are you?
From one semi-professional guitar player to a proficient guitar player, I am doing very well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for saying.
Yeah, thanks for having us back.
Absolutely. So, last time we had Andy, we talked about Revstar, we talked about the THR, so we were on the more electric side of things. Hence, I got this very nice jacket, or shirt, I should say, Revstar. So I felt to sport it if we're going to do some Yamaha stuff today. So, that being said, today we're going to switch things up and do acoustic stuff. So, more specifically, the TransAcoustic line, which he's got quite a smattering of.
Look at this. I could open a music store, you know.
Good. Don't compete with us, though.
No. I would never do that. But kids out there, you want to have fun, is like play guitar and be really good in this industry and meet good people. And you could be at my advanced age playing guitar for a living. Come on. It's
not
silly.
It's not a bad gig to have.
Not
so bad. We're here to have fun, like we always are.
Yes.
And what I should do before we really get into things is say a couple things. One, ask us any and all questions. We're happy to answer. I always say this at the top of every show because some people who have never tuned into one of these think that they're just going to watch myself and Andy talk. They have to politely be quiet and not say anything. No, that's not how we do things here. We want you to ask and engage with us anything. If it involves the Yamaha TransAcoustic guitars, you can even ask us stuff about Revstar and THR. We understand it already happened, but Andy's a pro. He knows his stuff. He's here to answer your questions. So, like I said, like it says right there, ask us any and all questions. You can even just say, Andy, what do you prefer, waffles or pancakes? It could be that ridiculous. Getting giggly.
Jeez.
Yeah, now great. Now I threw him off. He's going to be wondering this, and he won't be able to do the entire show.
Let me get Zen again. Hold on.
There you go.
Okay.
Jokes aside, we are here to answer any of your questions. It could be about pricing. It could be about what kind of wood is being used on the guitar, how the technology works.
Yep.
Whatever it is, we can do it. So I should also mention, doesn't hurt, but we're going to plug ourselves and say, follow us in Yamaha on Instagram and Twitter. We're also on Facebook, but that's pretty easy to find. But use those handles, and at Sam Ash Music and at Yamaha Music USA works on both Twitter and Instagram. We've got pictures, we've got videos, we've got updates, we've got it all. And we're always, we try to give you guys something to see every single day. We work in tandem, we work separately, but either way, we're here to help. So with the time we have left, we've got a lot of guitars to talk about and a lot to just say about Yamaha. So first off, what is TransAcoustic as opposed to just acoustic? Does it mean transmutation? Does it mean transcendental?
It means all of that.
Why not?
No, it does not. We're going to get there, but let's do this. First of all, I want to have everybody out there wish Yamaha a happy 133rd birthday.
They're 133 years young, guys.
October 12th, 1887 was when Yamaha was incorporated. The first product, just to recap for everybody, was a reed organ. So we started as a music company. Motorcycles and all that fun other stuff came much later. So remember, we started as a music company. There was a Mr. Yamaha, right? So we can actually connect this lineage, just as there was a Mr. Sam Ash, right? We can connect this lineage between a person and the history of the company and the services and benefits that they've provided across the years. Been making guitars since the 50s, right? So the first guitars that they did in Japan were nylon string and steel string acoustics. The Dynamic was the brand name that they were marketed under. And then the first guitars came to America in 1966. So remember the story I told last time, and if you didn't hear it, the first famous picture of a Yamaha acoustic guitar was in your home state of New York at Woodstock. Was Country Joe McDonald walking on stage to sing his protest song, strumming a Yamaha FG 150 that he had grabbed.
Know what? Speaking of that, that's a fun trivia fact, and I'm going to say that if we do a giveaway in the future, that may be a question for someone to answer live. So if you're watching, keep that in the back of your mind. We may do a little swag giveaway or something. So now you'll be like, I know about Yamaha. So continue, though. That fact aside.
Yeah, so that's kind of that cool thing is like the very first, because that picture was like in Life magazine, right? It went around the world because Woodstock was one of those events that was just earth shattering. So there's that picture, Joe with the helmet on, strumming his Yamaha guitar with a handmade strap on. So the kind of cool thing about that was that it really launched a good history of Yamaha guitars with artists, John Denver, Dan Fogelberg, Paul McCartney, Bob Dylan. So we've got this long history of famous artists playing Yamaha acoustic guitars, as well as our electric guitars and basses as well. So leading that, we can actually now tie that. How about a little Sam Ash history? We've got a little treat for your viewers, a little bit of family stuff we want to share with you guys.
So it should be known that, first of all, Sam Ash music's been around since 1924. Wow. I know most companies, people think, oh yeah, they've been around for like a couple decades, as long as I've seen commercials or as long as what. No, we've been there since in the middle of the Great Depression. We were basically around, which is crazy to think about in historical context. You're almost at your 100-year anniversary in a few years. Oh my Lord. In about 4 years, we will be celebrating 100 years. And it's pretty remarkable to say the least. So, wow. Yeah, it's nuts. That's great. Thank you. So, and one of those people that has been there almost literally the entire time was my grandfather, who was born in 1925. So he was literally born and raised in the music store. Our family had their home, I believe it was either in the back room or upstairs from the store. And that was for years. And they kind of moved that around, going on and on and on. So we started off selling violins and such. And then we expanded in. Now we're doing live streams, talking with our friends at Yamaha. But the Yamaha story, now I did speak to my grandfather, and you're about to see a video of him talking about Yamaha. He didn't say dates per se. He didn't know exactly when, but basically when it was the opportune time to work with Yamaha on guitars, we took them on for guitars. Now we've taken on Yamaha basically for every iteration of something. Obviously we never went on to motorcycles, and that's still a boggling thing to think. Yeah, someone trusted Mr. Yamaha, like, no, you make good instruments. Let's take on a totally different field of sports gear, but that's beside the point. You're not doing motorcycles yet. Yeah, maybe. We'll see at the 100th anniversary what happens. But all that being said, here's a little clip of my grandfather, who I literally saw just a few hours ago, talking about Yamaha. So stick around, check out my grandfather, Jerry Ash, talking about Yamaha.
Yamaha guitars from the outset were very nice guitars. They were good value for the money. They stood up, no problems. You sold it with no problem. In its price range, it was this excellent product. This blew my mind. They went to Indonesia, if I remember right, to have them made, and the quality stayed the same. For some reason, they were able to keep quality up no matter where they went to make their merchandise. You could never fault them. You could never say that's not worth the money. You could never say that the necks were warping or the sound wasn't good. Quality was there from day one. I'm a great believer in integrity. If I find a company who plays it straight and makes good stuff, I'm loyal to them.
So that's a pretty awesome clip. Now, I should state a few things. One, forgive me for that beeping sound. When we went, my grandfather has had a problem with their alarm system, so it's been doing that. They actually had a guy working on it. So no, none of you are going nuts and hearing beeping that isn't there. Your microwave isn't going off. But there's that. Second of all, there are actually other clips we are going to show for other future Yamaha sessions. Like he had some things to say about the keyboards. He had some stuff to say about woodwind and brass. And so we will introduce more Jerry Ash clips going forward, but this was more focused on the guitars. And as you can see, when we took on the guitars, he said roughly, I think we took them on in the 70s, but it was pretty remarkable that even he knew back then that Yamaha's integrity as far as keeping these, and he said the word was integrity. Yamaha cares about the quality of their craftsmanship, of their instruments across the board.
It's amazing. Jerry Ash to us is one of those kind of legendary figures in our industry, right? If you weren't related to him, you'd still kind of revere him for everything that he's done for us as musicians and in this industry.
I hear stories still all the time. Funny enough, I was picking up an amplifier earlier, and the guy there had a Jerry Ash story or two.
I love that.
Yeah, and he's a great guy, and he's one of the wisest people. And I'm grateful that he's my grandfather, but I'm grateful that I get to also pick his brain about this industry because. But
his testimonial, Ben, was interesting for the fact that it touches on all this stuff. We kind of, everybody, to be honest, we wrote a rough outline of the stuff we want to talk about. We're good at improvising, but we want to have a little bit of a step thing about with leading into Yamaha craftsmanship was kind of the next bullet point to talk about. And Jerry kind of led us right there, right? He talked about quality of the instrument. He talked about caring of the wood. He talked about never having to return a Yamaha guitar. We talked about all those things that you and I always talk about. Oh, we talked about value, right? We talked about, and I always say to like when I'm in your Ash stores training your Ash people to do what they need to do, I'm always saying, remember, tell your customers you're getting more guitar than what the price tag says. And that's that Yamaha value thing. Yeah,
I should reiterate one other thing, which is he didn't get paid to say that. I just came in. I'm his grandson. He could be brutally honest to me. He doesn't care. He's like that. He'll say whatever's on his mind. And he could have said anything about the guitars. And those are the words. They were not prompted. I just said, what do you think about Yamaha's guitars? And those are the words. That's it. And
can't thank him enough.
This is a guy who's been in the industry longer than most. Granted, he's retired now, but he knows the ins and outs in this industry. He's heard it all, played it all, literally to the point where he would make drum skins in the bathtub in his house to sell on the floor. It smelled awful because it was animal at the time. Yeah. They didn't have any of the plastic kind of stuff. But yeah, so it's pretty awesome that my grandfather had the time to say that, and amongst other things. So if you want to see more of what he has to say, when we have the keyboard one with Harach coming up in a couple weeks, he'll have stuff to say on that one. If we do a brass and woodwind in the future, I've got those clips too. But before we go, just in case this is something that may lead up, we have Carlos just asking out of curiosity, any word on the Yamaha NCX5 and when it will be available?
Great question, Carlos. It'll be available here in a few couple minutes. I've got one here to show you. COVID hit our factories, right? Since this is kind of a global pandemic, it hit the factory where we make these guitars. So we had a little production issues going out. It was always supposed to roll out over the course of the summer. Right, was the release date. We showed it at the January NAMM show, and it was supposed to get released over the course of the summer. The Ash family is on board. We're going to be carrying it in a certain amount of stores, which is fantastic. But then the pandemic hit, so production got halted. Everything kind of slowed down. Thank you for your patience. If you have a Sam Ash sales counselor that you have a relationship with, make sure that they know that you want it. They can send Ben an email and get it to me. We can get a date roughly when they should be available, and we'll get one that's perfect for you and get you taken care of.
And I will say, on piggybacking on the aspect of asking someone for a guitar, it is October 15th today. Black Friday is in just about a month plus, just about. I will promise you that it's very likely many of our products will go out of stock because while we have a great inventory of stuff, everybody's going to want to get their stuff under their tree. And because we're still expecting shipments and whatnot. So what I implore is if there is an instrument, an accessory, and anything, I would recommend getting it ASAP. That's up to your discretion, your dollar, what have you. We've got different financing plans, like, for example, right now, and we've got it going on all the time, 0% interest, 24-month financing. Call 1-800-4SAM-ASH, right, or visit the website. And if you're interested in the NCX5, almost said NXC, NCX5, ask about it. Ask what options we have. Ask if you can, like, for example, if you can order it now, it might get there before Christmas. And I want to make sure that I'm just talking on this, so I don't know what our inventory is allocated for that specific model, but start inquiring now. We have very friendly associates who will get you everything you need when you need it.
And that's always the easiest way to get the first one too, is always put a little money down. It's always a refundable deposit. Sam Ash doesn't want to keep your deposit, right? If you don't want the guitar, but always put a little bit of money down. That way they know you're serious about it. And then you get that first phone call when that guitar comes in. And it's a very cool experience. It's cool to do for customers. And it's also cool to get that phone call as well, as you can see.
Any Yamaha product. Yeah. So it doesn't hurt. I mean, the worst is you just make a phone call and at least be informed.
Yep.
So it doesn't hurt. But we've been talking a lot about my grandpa. We've been talking a lot about Yamaha in general. I'm sure you guys want to get to the fat of this, which is, let's talk about guitars. And, just go right ahead, Andy.
Yeah.
Tell everybody about everything.
So what we'd love to do, everybody, is let me just touch a little bit about the Yamaha build quality. There's a reason that salespeople go to us as being that entry-level guitar that most everybody starts on. We love being everybody's first guitar, but it's also the thing that the guitars that we make that are in that mid-price range to upper-end price range are pretty darn fabulous. There's a long history, as I said, with Ben, making guitars since 1955, coming into America since 1966. Great stewards of wood, right? We do a lot of wood. We do violins. We do, we're great stewards with wood. What that means, though, is that we know how to dry and how to cure. One thing you'll never get from a Yamaha guitar on the sales floor at a Sam Ash store is those fret edges, right? When you play some competitors' guitars, you might get those kind of spiky edges down. You'll never get that with a Yamaha guitar because we let our woods dry. We actually will never cut a green tree or make a guitar out of a tree that is not quite right yet. So that being said, we have a couple of different processes that we use in the course of acoustic guitar building I want to mention to you real quick. The first one is kind of a wood reforming technology we call acoustic resonance enhancement, or ARE. You'll see this stamped on the inside of certain guitars. Most of the 5 Series acoustic guitars, some of the upper end classical guitars will have that stamp on it. And what acoustic resonance enhancement does is gets wood fiber that's actually inside the wood. If I was looking in that wood with a microscope, gets the wood fiber to lay down a little bit. So kind of, if I was using my fingers as the interior of wood fiber, a vintage guitar, that top vibrates for 40 years. So how did I reproduce that in a factory? Everybody wants to dry their wood. Everybody's got some sort of way of drying their wood. Our proprietary thing is called acoustic resonance enhancement, and we actually pressure treat the top wood. And we'll talk a little bit about that and the benefits to that. Leading into that, once again, Yamaha, great stewards of wood, but we're also a technology company. So the cool thing about Yamaha guitars is now we're starting to stick really cool technology inside of our guitars. We're improving the quality of our preamp and piezo mic systems. So we'll talk a little bit about that coming up. What I want to grab for you, though, is let's talk about TransAcoustic. What?
So what I'm curious about is what everyone's curious about, and I kind of know the answer, but I'm asking on behalf of the audience, is what is TransAcoustic? Like, it's obviously just an acoustic guitar by default. Like, if you weren't to use any of the electronic capabilities, here, great guitar. It sounds awesome.
Great guitar. Yeah. So the story behind TransAcoustic was, it once again started in our piano division. We actually had a grand piano that had a secondary audio system underneath the soundboard, and it wasn't necessarily doing effects, but what it was doing was giving a secondary audio signal, so more like amplifying the sound of the piano to make it larger and fill the room a little bit more. So about 5 years ago, the technology gets small enough, and we asked if we could stuff it into a guitar, and they came up with TransAcoustic. So TransAcoustic was an interesting experiment. The first price point we came out with, and you guys still carry it, is an all solid wood Engelmann spruce over solid rosewood, the LL or LSTA. And it came out at a 9.
If you don't mind, could you repeat that? Because I want to pull up all.
Pull up the website. Yeah, do what you need to do. LLTA or LSTA. And it came out at $1,000 price point, right? Which is a little rich for our blood, as we're known in the acoustic world. And we couldn't make the guitar fast enough. We sold out every one of those guitars that we manufactured.
I mean, this is a beauty. So let's take a look at this.
Yeah, absolutely stunningly gorgeous. European Engelmann spruce on the top, solid rosewood back and sides on the LL and LS. It has a 5-ply mahogany and rosewood neck, ebony board, ebony bridge, beautiful sunburst finish. Yeah,
this is a brown sunburst.
Just stunning guitar.
And then this is the vintage tint.
So that's all solid wood. That's a handmade instrument for $1,000. But the cool thing about
2-piece back, gotta love it.
There's the natural. There's our vintage tint.
Interesting that you have two
look at that. Wow. Yeah. So what the idea behind that? We actually use it in our basses as well. Is stability, right? So that is mahogany and rosewood together, and what that does is it prevents neck twist. You know what? It's always kind of our guitars are kind of a set it and forget it as far as truss rod. Right, so I can kind of set it up and go. So yeah, beautiful solid rosewood back and side. So we came out with that guitar initially, $1,000. Sold the heck out of it faster than we could produce it.
Look at that with the rosette and you got the inlay work. It's great. I mean, if you like a fancy, but it's one of those things that from far away, it's a beautifully simple guitar, and then when you're up close playing at a campfire, people are like, "Oh, this is serious."
And it sounds,
regardless of what
sounds absolutely amazing, Ben. And I love your financing up there too. $45 a month, no interest. Yeah.
Only $45 a month, but yeah, we've got the brown sunburst in stock. I'm telling you guys, it's like what I said, vintage tint. We're out of stock right now, but if you're really sold on this one, give us a call and we'll get one ordered to you ASAP and hopefully get it to you by the holidays. But if you wait until December 24th, good luck. But this one's in stock. We've got this. And also, just because it says it's not in stock doesn't mean, again, it may not be in our distribution centers that we have where we have a warehouse. It may be in a store. So just because it says it's not online, just go to your local Sam Ash and say, do you have this in stock anywhere? Because we like to say we have, if it's in stock in one place, it's in stock. So essentially, it might be in our Columbus store, it might be in our Manhattan store, it might be in our Miami store, one of the Miami stores. So any of the guitars that we talk about, if you don't see it in stock online, that doesn't mean we don't have it in stock. Just call someone at 1-800-4SAM-ASH. I'll show you that number once again. Just call us. We'll be happy to find out where it's located. If it's not located, someone will order it for you, and you can still get the financing on it for 24 months. In this case, it's $45, which is not bad per month. I've got bills that are way more expensive than that I got to do every month. And then with all the streaming channels, it adds up more than $45 a month. I don't even want to talk about that. But yeah, go on. This is so far looking at an awesome guitar.
Can I just say you are an Ash through and through, my friend. I love you.
I'll take that as a compliment.
I love it. I absolutely love it. So back to my TransAcoustic story. We came out with that guitar that you're seeing right there, a little over $1,000. Couldn't make them fast enough. A few years ago, we decided to take the guitar and the technology into the FG and FS line. So what I'm holding here is our FG TransAcoustic, or FGTA. That's solid Sitka spruce, scallop bracing underneath. So that's one of the things that we've learned. Yeah. There's the scallop bracing underneath, laminate mahogany back and sides.
Is it which model number? Because you got the FG3.
This is the FG-TA VT.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine. We've got a few of them. So.
And as you can hear, I'm running right through. I'm running through a Samson condenser mic, which I absolutely love. And as you can hear, the guitar itself is pretty darn dynamic.
And you're not fire.
I'm not plugged in. I'm running everything direct. Now, what I want to do, since people might not have experienced TransAcoustic technology, what we're doing is we're giving you a great sounding guitar, but once I activate this nifty little preamp that's built into the guitar, what I can do now is get reverb.
That's wild.
So all of that reverb is coming out of the guitar. I'm not plugged into anything. You're getting it coming through the microphone. It also has built-in chorus. And you can hear that chorus kind of take over.
Perfect for any 80s songs like The Smiths or The Cure.
Yeah, anything 80s is going to be drenched in it, right? So, but
I
what
just want to reiterate, though, something that I've said on every single broadcast, because there's always that one guy on the internet, or gal, or whomever. The point is, if you
and we love that, we love that person. We love them.
They challenge us. But
yeah.
Here's the thing: I personally think this sounds great, and there's going to be someone's like, no. Keep this in mind. This is a guy playing a guitar into a microphone, into this interface. It's now going from the interface into the internet. It's going across the internet into your computer. Your computer, if you don't have monitors, is playing out of your laptop or your headphones. So give it the benefit of the doubt that if it sounds pretty good on the internet, it actually sounds even better in person. And these are guitars that, when you're thinking, I don't know how that works, maybe it doesn't work as great as you think it does. So, all the effect, of course, the reverb, and I think there's a third one that you're going to show us, correct?
Well, what there is there's two different types of reverb. I have a room reverb and a hall reverb. And there you go. There's the dial. And as you can kind of see, as I go around the dial, it's kind of graduated from a little to a lot, right as I go around the dial there. So it's kind of, you can find, there's numerous sweet spots of places that I like to kind of hang out when I've got my guitar on. When I turn my acoustic guitar on, I love saying that. And the cool thing about it, and here's one thing, Ben. When I pick up my TransAcoustic and play, I don't put it down as fast as I put down maybe another guitar that I own.
And
right,
why
so
is that?
Because I'm getting feedback. I'm getting the guitar is giving me more than just right. The guitar's got no music in it. The music is in us. It's in you, Ben. It's in all of our customers. But with the reverb and the chorus, getting that information back at me, I get lost. I'll get lost in the reverb. The next thing you know, 20 minutes has gone by, a half hour has gone by. I've left the sprinklers on. I've flooded the street. I've done something wrong. But it's that thing is I'm having a hard time putting down the guitar because I'm enjoying playing it so much. And I don't know when the last time I bought a guitar, right? I've got a lot of them. I don't know when the last time I bought a guitar that actually makes me want to play it more.
And that's
right?
all you want out of a guitar. You don't
and I love all my guitars. Yeah, I love all my guitars equally, right? They're kind of all my children. But something about being able to do that.
And we are on Sandhead.com. Let's see, we've got.
So I'll go sit in the backyard, right? I don't have to be plugged into an amplifier to enjoy these effects.
And this is great for buyers. It's great for really any situation you want to show off in front of friends. Heck, even in a coffee bar kind of thing. When those open again.
Yeah, here's the thing. If I'm a coffee shop player, I no longer have to bring my pedal board. Everything is built into my guitar, and it's right here to get. So I don't remember. Victor Wooten once told me, because if I have to bend over to change something or turn my back to the audience to adjust a knob, I've broken that wall with them. So my thing is I never want to break my concentration with the audience. So if I can do this, great. If I'm a church player, right, and I know you've got a lot of church customers that are out there rocking it on Sundays. Now the cool thing about this is I can control my effects at my fingertips. I don't have to rely on the front of house guy who might have been out on Saturday night doing his little to get my sound right? So I can actually kind of control it right here. Once again, I'm not plugged into anything. And all of that reverb you're hearing is actually coming out of the guitar. Now, what I can do is plug in, turn on the channel. I'll turn the microphone off so you can hear it. And there's my output volume. So it's an amazing tool, and I hope everybody gets it. And the cool thing about it is, if you've got 2 or 3 acoustics already, buy this. Right? None of your acoustic guitars do what this does.
Right.
Right, and it's kind of cool to have a piece of gear that is actually inspiring. Right? You don't want to put it down because it's giving you that kind of that feedback about. What you're playing is right. I can turn on the reverb and I'll get lost for an hour. So I like that. I like that effect to it. Now here's the cool thing about TransAcoustic. We came out with it at a fancy price point. Now, as we saw that you just had the page up, Ben, it's now in the FG and FL. Oh, look at that in black.
So that was the question I wanted to ask. I know you're playing the vintage tint, but if you had druthers, because I think Yamaha sent that to you, would you have brown sunburst? Would you have black, or would you have vintage tint? Like, what's your personal preference if you wanted to be seen on stage? Like,
I don't know if you remember when we did the electric show a few weeks ago. Every one of my electrics is black. I don't know. My wife goes,
cooler. I mean, look, it's simple. It's a statement.
It's sexy.
You can wear any outfit with it.
Yeah, it matches everything. So that's TransAcoustic. Yeah. So let me just cut.
Wait. You say that's TransAcoustic, but I'm pretty sure there were 3 effects. I know there's reverb. I know there's chorus.
2 different types of reverb.
There are.
There's a room reverb that's graduated from like 6 p.m. up to 12 p.m. And then when you get to the other side of the dial, it's hall and then kind of graduated as you come around the dial. So 2 reverbs and the chorus.
And then there's the third volume.
And then overall master volume. So the cool thing about this is if I don't want to play it with effects, turn the system on, turn the effects down all the way down, and then just use your master volume, and then you've got a regular acoustic electric guitar that sounds amazing.
So this is as far as electric acoustics are concerned, we're talking about something that has a third feature, arguably, because acoustic electrics, they're great if you're not using an amp. They're great if you use an amp. But there's usually not that middle ground where, again, and this is a great thing to consider, which is acoustic guitar players are not necessarily pedal junkies. Yeah. Like, that's an electric guitar thing primarily. And look, I know I'm going to get people being like, what are you talking about? Keyboard warrior here. Yeah, I play acoustic. I have pedals. No, acoustic guys can play pedals. But traditionally, most people pick up an acoustic don't have pedals personally in mind, unless they're getting something like for example, like a Fishman or a type system, or they want to experiment with like chorus and flange. But if you just kind of want to dip your toe in that water and not go crazy with buying these extra accessories and cables and stuff, although if you needed to, Sam Ash can help you out. Yamaha TransAcoustics are great. You just pick one up, you play one, and lo and behold, you got some effects to play around with, especially 2 very easy to understand. Like, delays can be a little overwhelming for some people, even for some phasers. But chorus and reverb are the ones that acoustic players usually use if they're going to use any pedals, because you want to keep the tone of your acoustic pretty consistent, and then add a little extra layer.
And we always get those loving. I mean, we have some Yamaha loyalists out there that just, dude, you know what you should do? You should put in that Eddie Van Halen flanger and this and that and that and that. And we love your ideas and keep them coming, right? This is how we kind of learn some stuff of what everybody's looking at. But I think what they looked at is that you always want reverb, right? You're either going to it on your amp, you're going to it on the PA. So why not put it in the guitar? And then chorus is one of those things. And I was never a big steel string chorus guy, right? I never heard it kind of in the 70s and early 80s growing up. But now we have, and you're going to pull up this page because you're really good at typing, the CG-TA. So now what we did last year is we rolled out a nylon string transacoustic that is just amazing. Now, once I said I was never a big chorus guy, right? But the chorus on the nylon string band is every Rush record that I kind of deciphered in the 70s growing up. It's that, and it just adds that extra depth to it. CGTA, and then we also do it now, even though this is not one, we also do it in the Parlor series. So we came out with this kind of groovy Parlor series, which is a 23 and 5/10 scale length or something like that. Solid Sitka spruce, scallop bracing, laminate back and sides. We also make a solid version, but we also do this guitar in TransAcoustic. So what it's become, TransAcoustic has now become its own little family of product. Which is kind of cool. So I think it's inspiring a whole nother level of player. Like I say, if you're a Martin guy and a Taylor guy, and I've got those guitars around the house as well, but none of those guitars do what a TransAcoustic Yamaha can do, right? So just add one into your mix. They make a great gift. And remember, kids or parents or kids, guitars look impressive under Christmas and holiday trees, right? It's a big box. You wrap a case with a lot of wrapping paper. It looks cool. TransAcoustic technology. I think it's going to be around for a while. We've got some neat irons in the fire, and I've seen some things which are pretty mind blowing. But the cool thing, and this is kind of being a guitar player and a lover of this stuff, is I play more guitar when I pick up a TransAcoustic and turn it on, right? So let all your customers do that. SamAsh.com, head to a store, buy a guitar. The CSF Parlor guitar, available at all the Sam Ash stores, now in TransAcoustic as well. We give you the gig bag. Very, very cool travel. Cool thing about it, it's got a cool little passive pickup in it too. So you can plug it into any PA system or amplifier. No need to change a battery, but a great kind of camping and travel guitar as well. So the cool thing about those two guitars is we're still kind of using the technology stuff that I always say the mad scientists in the lab coats that have social anxiety disorder, but come up with really cool technology. And then the craftsmen in the guitar world had a marriage and put that together. Same thing with, and I know I kind of passed over it on my notes. Same thing with silent guitar. What is this? Have anybody ever seen one of these before? Oh, there's
I don't have it on the screen.
So there's the CSFTA. Bring that back up. So yeah, sure. So that's that cool little Parlor guitar that I just showed you guys, but that guitar has TransAcoustic magic in it. So you can see the 3 buttons on the top, that solid Sitka spruce scallop bracing underneath. So we build it like an A series or an F.
See, this is a close of what he was talking about.
There you go, Daddy.
Forgive me that my mouse is moving the thing, but reverb room, and then halfway reverb hall. Then you got the chorus. You can crank that bad boy to get your 80s new wave, and then out volume, press and hold, tap to get the TransAcoustic on and off.
It's very intuitive too. So it's you don't have to be a computer scientist, but if you're a computer scientist, you'll have fun with this as well because it's very it responds to as you turn the dial. TransAcoustic technology, L series, all solid, FG series, solid over laminate, nylon string in the CG series, and now in the CSF. So all of them are at Sam Ash or at samash.com. Thank you for carrying them, but add a TransAcoustic to your collection. Like I say, is you'll find yourself playing a little bit more. Another cool thing that we've done, being technology, right? The guys in the white lab coats meet the guys with the guitar building pedigree. About 10 years ago, we came out. Let me see this.
I do, and it's actually just an amazing piece of art, regardless. So
I showed this.
What model are we looking at? So I can pull up an image for closer.
This is the SLG 200N. There's there's 3 models, right? We do a steel string at a traditional 1 7/8 width. We do a traditional nylon, which is a little over 2 inches on the width, and then we do a kind of a narrow nylon or an intermediate nylon. But like you say, Ben, this is
that the crimson red?
This is the crimson red burst that we just added this year.
So let's take a look at that.
Yeah, and it does match everything you wear. Yeah, look at that. So
here's if you didn't even play guitar, this would just look nice on your wall. Like, this is the kind of thing where if you and your spouse have bicker over what's allowed to be hung up on the wall, because you can't exactly match a pink electric guitar in every room unless you're more like an Andy Warhol style house. But this, you can hang this up in any room, and your wife or your husband will be like, that needs to go in the room. It looks so nice.
It looks like it's a design. It's a design piece. You could put a frame around this, and it would, like you said, Ben, it would look like a piece of modern art.
I mean, now I'm tempted to get this for myself, but
I showed it to my wife the other day, and she comes back into my office and goes, "Would you want that for Christmas?" I don't like, honey. I want everything for Christmas.
Yeah, my list is getting big this year for what I want, believe it or not.
So we have a whole silent series of instruments, right? We do a silent violin, we do a silent bass, we do a silent cello, we got silent mutes for your horn. So about 10 years ago, silent guitar came into fruition. This is the second generation of silent guitar. So
it's about time.
Yeah. What do I mean by silent? Yeah, it doesn't make any noise.
So
unless I plug it in via headphones, it's got a headphone output, or a 1/4 inch out. Now the cool thing about this is I bring this channel back. Volume control. I've got there's a microphone model in here. So what I can do is I actually can select between, you probably can't see that. Actually, you can select between the piezo that's under the saddle and the microphone model. I have a bass and treble control. I have an aux in. If I want to put my phone into my guitar or my Walkman or my Discman, yeah. So, and I'll get that through the headphones, or it'll come down the cable as well. Built-in tuner. And this also has reverb and chorus.
And honestly, guys, I just want to bring up this page again. You would think something with all the features would be at least over $1,000, but I gotta highlight something.
Yep.
That is not a bad price tag. If I can
Come on. And we're going to give you the gig bag. We're going to give you a power supply. I think there's even earbuds in the bag.
So, guys, come on. I'm not trying to hawk, I'm trying to be as biased as possible, or unbiased as possible, rather. But even I have to admit, if I need a nice new nylon string, there's some great acoustic stuff that Yamaha makes. But if you really want to be flashy, I mean, for $700, nuts. It looks great, and good luck finding something as stylistic as that by any other manufacturer. And there's nothing against the other manufacturers. I have love for all of them, but I would be hard pressed to find something that looks like this, sounds like this, plays like this, has a gig bag, has a set of headphones for that dollar value.
And the gig bag is very tiny because the upper frame.
Oh, wait. What? I thought that was permanent. That's amazing.
No. So what I do, I loosen up the strap buttons on the end. Right. I pull this off, and that is about the size of the gig bag. So this has become a travel guitar for touring musicians because the airlines allow it in the overhead compartment.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's cool that we've got Oz Noy and Alex Skolnick and Daniel Ho and some of these big players playing silent guitar, 3 different models, nylon, an intermediate nylon, and a steel string, and it's the best sounding guitar you've never seen.
Plus, not just that, great joke, by the way, but not just that, I mean, you're on stage with that thing, you can wear whatever outfit you want and not worry that your guitar is going to be in the way.
Ben, I would join a band with you because you play horribly loud, and this thing would never feed back next to you.
So there you go. Yes, I do play it terribly loud. If anyone sees my live streams, which I'm not begging people, trust me, there are people who already tune in and are like, that's enough.
But once again, that's the kind of the perfect marriage, like TransAcoustic is, of the guys in the technology wing of Yamaha, and then the guys in the guitar craftsman wing. And let's put those two together, and we're going to really be able to give the customer a great technology product, great playing guitar, and $699, I think, is the guaranteed low price at samash.com.
And that's without financing. I know I keep everyone's like, "Oh, Ben, stop with the financing." I can't stress it enough because everyone who does it always thanks us at the end. It's $30 a month. That's if you put $1 from your wallet and you put it on the dresser or in a piggy bank every single day of the month, you could afford this. That's how easy. And it takes 2 years. I mean, yeah, that sounds like a long time, but
that's a week at Starbucks. I mean, come on, people, buy a guitar instead.
You know what? If I promise anyone who's watching this, if you just stopped having your daily coffee for the rest of your, like, say for 2 years you just didn't drink coffee, this would be you would be able to buy this and then the accessories and then anything else you wanted from Sam Ash Music.
And extended service protection.
But in all seriousness, I mean, that's what I love about this. They sound great. They play great. It's like my grandfather said at the beginning. It's a lot of guitar for its value. They're great instruments. Yamaha has been trusted for 133 years. In multiple fields. I just want to bring back that, yes, they do make incredible motorcycles and such, but their first love is music, and they've been around for 133 years because they are consistent. And you were name dropping people who've been playing these things. I mean, if it's like it should be, if it's good enough for Woodstock, it's good enough for you. That should be the Yamaha slogan for the guitars.
It's an amazing history ride. And over the shoulder, the 12-string over here, 1977 FG 312. I found in a Sam Ash store for $179, and the top is perfect, and the neck is straight, and it sounds like $1 million. I've got a 1981 FG 331. Right, nothing fancy. Right, these were working class guitars, but they're standing up to the test of time. I see over in the chat window, I really wanted to get to Carlos's question. How easy is it to change batteries now in Yamaha acoustic electrics, right?
That's a great question.
It's so darn easy, Carlos. Look at this. Let me show you this. We built now an escape hatch for all batteries are now down.
Yeah, I'm sorry, one more time, because ironically, his question was in the way of what you were doing. Oh, and it's cool that it's AA. It's not the 9-volt.
No more 9 volts. Yeah, we're getting away from that. Eventually, probably basses will get away from that too. But once again, as you can see here, it clicks in right at the input jack. I press a little button. This doohickey comes out, and it's 2 AA's, Carlos. So more affordable. There's about 6 to 8 hours of battery life. Always remember to unplug when you're not playing, because that is what closes the circuit off and allows that battery to drain. But everything is AA. So everything that I'm kind of showing you here, from the TransAcoustic to the FG Red Label I just had, to the NX5 that you're going to go and put money on right after we get done with this session here, Carlos, correct? Correct? Yes, you are. AA batteries, man. So it's really, really easy to do. Really, really easy.
Not just that, but if you're in a jam, you just ask someone for the remote and you're good to go. Yes. Every bar's got a TV. Be like, hey, whoops. Or, sorry, honey, we're not watching Netflix tonight. I've got to play guitar. I know this is not Yamaha oriented, but it is the same question, and I just have to answer it. Forgive me. May rest in peace, EVH. Do we have any of the Wolfgang specials? We do. It doesn't seem like we have them in stock, but again, call us. We can find. I can't search what our inventory is in all the stores right at the moment because I'm talking to you. But if you're looking for a Wolfgang special, here you go.
Yeah,
Never put that on acoustic, and maybe there's a reason why.
Yeah, get that at Sam Ash. My Van Halen story was seeing them back at the Starwood days before they got signed. So, yeah.
When they were what, Mammoth?
Amazing band.
Were they Mammoth you saw them were still Van
They
Halen.
were Mammoth the first time I saw them, and then they became Van Halen. And a friend of mine, I don't know if you know Lauren Molinaro, works over at Black Star, right? He's kind of a legend in this business. Has a band called the Dogs. He showed me a flyer that the Ramones, the first time the Ramones came to Southern California, it's the Ramones as headliner. The Dogs were the middle band, and introducing Raunch and Roll with Van Halen at the Golden West Ballroom. How about that? 1977.
I can't even fathom. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have. I've been to so many concerts, and I don't think I have a story like that for any band or any artist that I can think of at the moment. But maybe that story will happen where I've seen them, and they will become legends for at least another 5 years.
Yeah.
So I've got concert stories for days, honestly, but probably different ones than you do. I mean, you're Van Halen. That's a great story. I don't know if I have a Van Halen type story.
You'll have those stories that you'll pass on to your kids and your grandkids, and they're going to look at you like,
you know what? I got to
who?
start getting these. I feel like with every drink I have in my life, that's one story I forget.
Well, you know,
You got to be safe.
it's adulting. It's not easy adulting.
Right, exactly.
Carlos, Carlos, I know you asked earlier what I have plugged in. This is your NTX5. Okay, so let me touch on this real quick. We refreshed the NX line and now have kind of broken them into two different series. So if you look at this nifty little guitar, it's a little thinner. It has this cool little oval sound hole. So it kind of looks familiar, doesn't it, Ben?
Yeah, I know what this looks like.
Yeah, so we actually took the old APX body shape that it was the number one acoustic electric guitar selling in America is the APX 600 from Yamaha. But what we did is we took that into a nylon string series. So now this NX series is the NCX is our traditional classical with cutaway. That is going to be traditional depth. That is going to be round sound hole and a traditional 2.05 inch nut width. The one that Ben has on the screen and the one that I'm playing right now is the NTX5. Now, this has the thinner APX body, cutaway, and a slightly narrower string spacing. So this is the perfect guitar if you're a steel stringer who maybe didn't grow up playing classical and has a tough time negotiating that first position. Now on this guitar, it's a little bit narrower, so it's a little bit more comfortable to play. I
can already see the difference.
There's the NCX. So if you grew up kind of a traditionalist, you had a traditional teacher, put your foot on a stool, and you had tucks and tails and all that, which we love, this is the guitar for you. So this is more of a traditional. We gave it that cutaway. Yeah.
The rosette in oval on this one.
No, that's a traditional round rosette and a traditional body depth. So the player that grew up playing classical will get on this and go, oh, okay. It feels very comfortable. It has a cutaway. It's gorgeous. And then the NTX that I'm holding in my hands is the little bit of a thinner body with the oval sound hole. Yeah. Beautiful. Now, these guitars are handmade in Hamamatsu, Japan. Okay. Carlos,
I don't know if that was a glitch on my end. What was it? Which Hamamatsu? You said?
It's in. I'm hearing that glitch too. Hamamatsu, Japan, is the Yamaha's world headquarters. That is also where your A5 is made. Your FGX5, your upper end classical guitars, your Billy Sheehan bass, your John Patitucci 6-string bass. All of those are handcrafted in what's basically a custom shop for production. These are team-built instruments. Usually the NTX5 or an A5 will sit on a table and get made rather than being passed down a production or assembly line. So handmade guitars coming from Japan for the price of some other people's entry-level stuff. So we're going to give you more, like I say, more value. Could this be a $2,500 guitar, Ben? Yeah, easily. And we'd probably sell it really well. But we do well enough with it and to be able to make it. I think I saw it, what, $17.99?
Yeah. Let me pull it up again. But that thing is, what I've learned from doing a few of these Yamaha live streams, regardless of instrument, is that you guys make them price points to at least get, like you said, the value in the hand. doesn't make sense to make a great guitar incredibly expensive, because then you lower your clientele, and you guys really want to get more musicians playing more of your products, and that whatever they end up choosing, they go, not a single dollar was wasted on getting this. I've never heard of a complaint from someone buying a Yamaha instrument. Truly. I had a Yamaha electric myself, and I love it. It's the Pacifica. And that's the other thing. A Yamaha instrument, whether it's, and you guys make everything pretty much. I've never played a bad Yamaha instrument. I used to play a Yamaha saxophone, and I say used to because unfortunately, long story short, I don't know where that instrument is after moving to places, going to college and all that. So I feel stupid because it was a great saxophone. It was. And I'm going to one day get back into saxophone, maybe even trumpet, because now I'm recording a lot more. And Yamaha makes basically every instrument I could possibly need if I wanted a full band setup. We've discussed that you guys are the people that facilitate the instrumentation for Disney at the parks.
Oh, I was going to make, thank you for reminding me. You and I are like, we're on a wavelength. I'll make you jealous. I'll make you jealous. 3 weeks ago, we get a phone call. Yeah, we are the official instrument provider for Disneyland, right? So our headquarters here in Southern California is about 8 miles away from the park. So it's a little bit of a perk. We get a call from them, and they're looking at opening. They haven't figured out a date yet, but once everybody gets safe enough, they'll open safely and stuff like that. But we get a call from them. It's time to do a triage on the guitars. Can you come to Disneyland backstage and come look at the guitars that they have? So I got to put on an ID badge and get all dressed up in my Yamaha finery and actually go in the backstage entrance and get a tour in from the entertainment director. E1 is his employee number. And was a great kind of backstage look at what we did. I got to go to the Golden Horseshoe Review and stand on the stage and restring some guitars and walk on Main Street. And as you know, grew up in Anaheim, it's very special to be there in the park. It was eerie to be there with no people there.
That's the cool thing. I know it's grim, but it's cool that usually when people get invited to the park, it's still open. It's for everybody. Yeah. You got to go when it was a ghost town. Yeah. Which that's wild to me.
Yeah, very cool, but very eerie. I can't wait for it to open back up again. But yeah, we're the official instrument provider. So these guitars, I worked on 3 different A-series guitars at Golden Horseshoe. All of them had road miles on it. You know, if they're getting 8 to 10 performances a day, right? Imagine that. I pick up my guitar 8 times a day to play a stage show. And that's kind of what these are. So they're really working horse instruments.
Let's put it this way. Whoever their string provider is, I'm not guessing who it is, must be making a killing with Disney alone, because they must go through strings every few hours.
So it's great to be involved with them, and it's great to have their confidence in Yamaha as a product. And I know we're running.
They're not just selective about it. It's not like you're the instrument provider of their guitars or of their keyboards. It's basically, if Yamaha makes an instrument, 99.9% of the time, it's going to be seen on stage. And I remember calling, I forget if it was you or someone, I was with being the music nerd as I am, I'm here at Disney, and I see Yamaha on stage, and I'm like, hey, I forget if it was you, Bruce, or both, and I was just like, just curious, do you guys have an affiliation, or is it just a coincidence they have so much Yamaha gear? And one of you was like, I think it was you, who said, nope, we have a really good relationship with Yamaha. So basically the only thing on stage is maybe the microphones aren't Yamaha, but everything else was a Yamaha piece.
Now, when you see upright pianos, we were in the Pepsi Pavilion, right, in the soda fountain area, and the little upright piano that banging out the ragtime stuff on. It's a Yamaha.
There you go. You guys have that affiliation. I don't have my Disney hat, of course, right now, but I am a Disney dork. Thanks to my wife. She grew up in California, so that was a regular spot, and she converted me, if you will, from being just a reform to an orthodox Disney fan, if you will.
So I got some good Disney park trivia. When next time I see you, I'll let you know some secrets that I was kind of led on to.
She'll know those. Like, I'm not joking off cuff, because I know this is about Yamaha, but my wife regularly, and I don't mean that like at least once a day, is watching some Disney blog video about me there. There's got Justin Scard, who is apparently a musician or was a musician. He too, and like there's just so many people she watches, and I'm learning vicariously through her. So maybe I can answer the question. I don't know.
There's a new attraction being built. A Mickey and Minnie attraction. Do you know Mickey and Minnie don't have their own attraction inside Disneyland?
I heard about this.
Yeah, so now they will. Do you know that Mickey and Minnie never appear as proper characters outside of Disneyland? So if you see them in California Adventure, they're always dressed as tourists.
Yes.
They always have the Hawaiian, so they never look as traditional characters.
They don't have the tuxedo and the dress unless they're at that park.
With the exception of Star Wars, you will never see Marvel enter Disneyland.
Yep.
So that's what I was kind of curious. I'm like, he goes, nope, Disneyland's going to be the magical side of things, and then California Adventure, at least out here, will have all of that other stuff. So
they've got their rules in place. But it's funny to mention Disney because I know this started turning into like a podcast, but I'm actually excited that movie by Pixar, I think it's called Soul, or I don't know if there's more to it.
Oh, yeah.
But it's nice that we're getting a music-oriented film coming out from Disney. And obviously every movie has music in it. But what I'm suggesting is there's now a character who is a musician, and that is part of the plot of a movie. And I welcome any movie that has a character who is a musician.
Yeah.
That means more people want to buy some stuff. And I am sure on the back end of things that Disney, not only for the parks, but probably has a lot of Yamaha gear for the studios that they record in, I'm sure Michael Giacchino, who's done some of the Pixar movies, has some Yamaha gear, and I don't know where they record, but I'm sure the Lucas Studios got sound gear from Yamaha consoles and stuff like that. So this is speculation. I don't know, but if they have such a great relationship with you for the parks, I imagine for other facilities they do too. Sorry, this went on to a whole Disney tear, but we got Andy and I talking to each other. This kind of stuff that'll happen. It might veer off
down the rabbit hole.
Yeah. But,
Let me do this. We'll begin to wrap this up. We'll begin. Who knows when it's going to end, but we'll begin the wind down.
Yeah.
The latest thing that we added just this year is we kind of looked at we did an FG 180 reissue a couple of years ago. You guys bought into it and sold everyone that you had. We sold everyone that we had. We did 150 of them, and they were all gone within a matter of, I think that winter NAMM, they were all purchased. So what we wanted to do was kind of take FG upscale a little bit. FG, that series within Yamaha, has always been known as everybody's entry level, right? I had an FG 75 in 1976. All right, let's put that together. That's not easy to remember. But it was always an entry-level sort of ish brand, right? At least now in the last 15 to 20 years. So what we did this past year is come out with a more refined FG. So this is FG X for electronics 5. So this is handmade in Japan by master craftsmen. And absolutely beautiful. All solid wood, solid Sitka spruce, solid mahogany, ebony bridge, ebony board. But once again, Yamaha never being happy with where we are in technology. And you'll never see another competitor brand in our guitars, right? We know how our guitar should sound, so let's do the technology ourselves. Ben, if you could pull this up, if you've got it listed, FGX5. The electronics within this thing is a brand new technology called Atmos Feel. So what we've done, as opposed to putting in reverb or chorus or any effects, what we wanted to do was make this guitar sound the best it could when plugged in. We don't necessarily want to do anything that's going to color the sound of our guitar, but we want to make our guitar amplified and just make it the best it can. So now with Atmos Feel, you get 3 different transducers. There's an undersaddle pickup like we've been doing for years. This also has an internal microphone, and under the top is something called a sheet sensor or a contact pickup that almost looks like a Band-Aid. It's about that thin. and it sticks to the underside of the guitar and adds a third signal blended into the microphone. So what I can do now is I can actually take this, I can blend the signal. I got an output volume. I got a bass peaking EQ. And this is kind of a cool thing. The one frequency you're always going to fight playing acoustic guitar live and at volume is bass frequencies, right? So this has a slidable bass EQ, which actually almost automatically pulls out certain frequencies and prevents a little bit of feedback. And then the last is the microphone blend between the pickup and the microphone sound. So the cool thing about this is just an awesome sounding guitar. And let me turn down the pickup is off. So this is all microphone. The definition and the separation between each string that I hear is just amazing, just amazing. But the cool thing is what we do. I got a very versatile preamp. I really wish everybody was here at home with me in my room because it really does sound amazing.
That's the only problem with these live streams is that, again, I'm inviting him on as a guest. So this Restream platform, maybe we'll start with an OBS at some point, but this Restream platform is trying to funnel in two audio sources at once, and that's why I get dipset in and out. It is not Andy's fault. It's just Did
you have that page still picked for this, or did you put it away?
This page.
Oh, so go back up to the price. I want to show you value. So look at that, $13.99, and nothing against our competitors, but you all know how much our competitors sometimes will charge for a guitar. Sometimes our competitors will charge you $13.99 for a guitar that may be the first or the second guitar in a certain series. So it's more of an entry-level piece than their upper-end piece. So I can get you a hand-built, Japanese-made, all-solid wood guitar with this cool Atmos Field technology in it for $13.99.
I mean, yeah, it's funny.
It is amazing. It is amazing.
Or like Home Shopping Network, but I mean,
it could be $2,000 and it would be a value at $2,000. But we're Yamaha, so we don't need to sell it for that much.
So let's put it this way. I just also want to bring this to everyone's attention. So so the guitar, look at it. It's gorgeous, right? Solid spruce top, solid mahogany back and sides, bone nut and saddle.
Scallop bracing. Yeah, scallop bracing is on all of our, and we'll throw in the case.
Ebony fingerboard, bridge, and bridge pins. The reason I and Andy are bringing up all of these specifications is, but I challenge the viewer to find another instrument, even on our site, that is this price or less with all of those features. Find the solid spruce top, solid mahogany backside, scallop bracing, the acoustic electric Atmos Feel 3-way pickup system, and a hard shell case for that price, for that $13.99.99. I'm not trying, again, Yamaha did not pay me to say this. I'm just trying to encourage the viewer, you that's watching this, to maybe consider a Yamaha guitar, because that's, again, to go all the way back to what Andy and my grandfather said, it's a lot of guitar for a great value. It's $1,500 and you're getting all of that, which is competitive with, like, maybe, you know what? Maybe there is another guitar out there that's solid Sitka spruce top with solid mahogany back and sides, but they may not have a hard case. Maybe there's a guitar that has a hard case, but it doesn't have solid back and sides, or it's solid top. Maybe there's something that's not even acoustic electric that's this price. So again, all of those features for this guitar that also sounds great if you get one in your hands.
Wow.
Kind of awesome.
Kind of very cool.
And that's not even part of the stream, but it's cool that you guys have a gift. Those are fun as heck, by the way.
I'm sorry, I had to get that out of my system. Were you saying something?
I'm just saying those are fun as heck.
$99. You got $100 in your pocket. The GL1 tuned A to A. You can play all your cheesy guitar stuff on it. If you don't have one of these, Ben, you need to have one of these. If you don't have one of these for your customer, put you in the ukulele octave area so you can actually jam along with ukulele people.
I go to a Santa
store. You don't have to learn anything.
Like when we go to Carl Place, there's a ukulele wall literally right when you walk in.
Yep.
And I always get that, pick up, play whatever I just learned on the guitar, go some of the salespeople, and then I go on and actually do some work.
So thank you for the opportunity to show off what we do. It's just from $100 to $1,500. We're not asking for all your money, everybody, right? We respect your paycheck, right? You guys work hard for your money. We don't want to take every penny of it.
Especially in today's times.
We want to give you more instrument than what you're paying for. If you buy a Yamaha from Sam Ash, you're going to leave or open that box and it's going to be way more instrument than what that receipt shows. And that's where Yamaha really succeeds, is we make a hell of a good guitar and we keep that price in check. And we're always going to give you more guitar than what that price is showing.
So I think I'm assuming you've covered everything. So I just want to reiterate to all of our customers that are watching, or new customers, or just people who happen to stumble upon this live stream, or people who are rewatching this live stream. I want to say thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you enjoyed what Andy and I both had to say, including the Disney stuff that we went on that tangent for. But all that being said, Sam Ash Music, I always say this at the end of every stream, but I always have to say it. Sam Ash Music is still open. All of our store locations, except right now, Queens, I have just found out, because, again, COVID-related stuff, they actually shut down Area Queens, and I wish I was making this up. Our store
is safe. Yeah, be safe, everybody. Just be safe.
But across the street, they're open. So our store, I don't know how they divide this up. It's nuts. But either way, unfortunately, that's the only store that's closed for now. It's supposed to open up, I think, in a week or two, give or take. But other than Queens, every other store is open. We are practicing safe hygiene. We're trying to practice sterilization. So basically, every surface is clean. If you touch the surface, or rather, before you touch anything, it gets clean. Yep. After you touch it, it gets cleaned again. There's not enough Lysol hand sanitizer for us. We're probably one of the people that's making that stock rise, because we are making sure to always keep the stores clean. Everyone wears a mask. We insist everybody that comes in wears a mask. Unfortunately, there are people who don't love the mask mandate. I'm sorry to say, we cannot allow you in the store. However, we are happy to provide curbside assistance, whether or not you want to wear a mask. We do provide that, so you can pay for it. You can pay for it over the phone. We'll bring the gear, whether it's a Yamaha guitar or something else. You can buy it over the phone. We'll bring it to your car, no problem. Like I said before, you can also call 1-800-SAM-ASH, Visit us on the web. We've got all these Yamaha guitars in stock, and if they're not in stock, we probably have them in a store. If not, we'll order it for you, but you won't know, and I don't know at the moment, unless you find out and call. And 0% interest in 24-month financing on everything above $299. And if it's under $299, or if you can't get the financing card, we do also have progressive leasing. So the point is, if you call us and you're saying, I don't know if I can, how can I pay for this? We'll probably have a solution for you. That we always figure out something with our customers. We want to make sure you have the best musical journey possible. So we want to give you every opportunity to get the right gear for the right needs, especially in this case, if you're looking for a Yamaha guitar, we've got them at every price range, and you won't be disappointed by any price range you go for. So if you're going for something that is $299, or if you're going for something that's $1,700, you're getting a great Yamaha guitar. Andy's here to testify to that. I'm here to testify to that. I love every Yamaha I play. They're all great instruments.
And if I can just say, it's some of the best trained sales staff, right? There's more professional and lifer people that are in Sam Ash locations, and they're there because they love it. They're not there just because it's a job in the music industry. They're there because they have a passion for turning people on to cool gear. And I always tell them, it's like, remember, you're the Pied Piper of cool stuff. And so don't be afraid to tell anybody.
Like everyone that works in the company that does not have the last name Ash is in that building because they started as a guy on the sales floor or the stock room and worked their way up. We don't, I mean, 99%. We have taken people out. So I'm not going to lie about that. But for the most part, if you're talking to someone who's worked their way in Sam Ash, they're probably got an office now because they've proven themselves. We don't love to take people outside of the industry, let alone outside of the company. But if they've proven themselves to be worth it, we love to welcome new people. If you're interested in a job at Sam Ash Music, by all means, apply online. I know I can go on tangents forever, but long and short,
I worked at Sam Ash, and I worked for Samson, right? So once again, great job and great people to work for, right? It still is a family-owned business, and you'll know it when you get there, right?
Right. So, and heck, I'm an Ash. I like working, but that might be a little bit biased, but just a tad. But I love doing these things because I want to talk to the customer. Because as an Ash, I feel like you guys want to hear from me if possible. So I love doing these. Needless to say, though, thank you guys for tuning in. Hope this brings some renewed interest for some of you in Yamaha's wide range of just the TransAcoustic, if not all their acoustic guitars. And big news! Speaking of acoustic guitars, one Yamaha acoustic player is Laura Jane Grace, band Against Me. And I bring this up because we have the privilege, thanks to Yamaha, I will be interviewing her next week on Wednesday at 5 p.m. So if you have questions about Laura Jane Grace as a songwriter, what her new album Stay Alive is going to be like, what her gear is like, any questions you have for her, go to our Facebook page and find us in the events or the live stream category and type your comments there. Type your comments in response to the tweet we posted. Instagram, I'm going to be checking all of them. And if you have a question for Laura, and it's a good question because I can't ask every question, I might ask your question live and I'll credit you for saying, I'll say, so-and-so asks blah, blah, blah. And because there are questions even I won't think of to answer. It could be as specific as a song. It could be as specific as what inspired her, who inspires her. But it's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. We're going to be doing that next week. And one person will be able to win her brand new record on vinyl. So we're doing a giveaway for her new album coming out. And that's even cooler because I'm a vinyl fan. So the fact that she's giving away her record before it even comes out, someone's going to win this. Basically, they'll know before the album comes out, I'm getting this record for free. And I hope that if you're the one watching, it's for you. But all of that being said, I apologize. I usually go on these tears. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. Wherever we have an account, we're probably there. Follow us. I'm sure we will have Andy again sometime for another guitar-related thing.
Maybe do a bass show, right? You guys are pretty well stocked as far as TRBX and BB basses, and you guys also are doing the Billy Sheehan and the John Patitucci. So maybe we look at a November date and we just talk nothing but basses. And maybe we do Ampeg as well, right? Because Ampeg is part of the Yamaha family. And
by the way, guys, if you have comments about or want to suggest what we talk about in the bass so we can preemptively prepare, let us know. Let us know the questions you want us to ask and answer and all that stuff. You can say it in the comments here. You can message us. You can post them wherever. Just say, hey, when you guys talk about basses, blah, 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 blah. This is me miming a keyboard. So, yeah, exactly. So, or congas, depends.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
So, like congas, keyboard. Congas, keyboard. Jokes aside, thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is always fun. Andy, thank you so much.
Ben, thank you much. Much love to you, my friend, and much love to Dad and the rest of the family and stuff. And thanks for once again inviting Yamaha on board to do this stuff. People think as we're a large company, and we are. We're the largest seller of instruments in the world, but it really is a people thing. And I always say it's like, look at all this stuff. It doesn't make music. Right? It's got a musicality to it, but it doesn't make any music. The music's in our customer. It's in you. It's in me. This is nothing but a glorified doorstop. So pick up a guitar, pick up an instrument, let the music come out of you. It's in there.
Uncle Andy says, I want you to play Yamaha guitars. So on that note, wonderful statement, Andy.
Yeah, thanks, Ben.
Looking forward to the next one. And to all the viewers, thank you so much. And we hope to see you next time for whatever Sam Ash live stream we have. So take care.
Bye, y'all.